So Blast is at like an all-time high right now in his stock, considering he's had his face reveal. And there's been so much discussion and speculation about him lately in the community. So I want to talk about all of that stuff in this video. And also I've had time to, think about things since I went over the chapter and did the review for everything. So let's go over a few things. So in my review, I talked about how, what we're seeing could literally be Blast, or it's just how my mass envisions him. And I want to go more into the vision part, because it's possible that Blast might not be like literally that huge, like the size of Boros or Darkshine or something. It's possible that he's that big because if he was in fact saving a My Mask as a child, then that's how big a child version of a My Mask would have been in relation to Blast. Meaning that Blast is, maybe normal size. Maybe the size of the bearded worker. Anyway, I'm just saying that, like, that's a possibility that, he's not, in fact, that huge. But it also is a possibility at the same time, because that would also make sense that Blast, the #1 hero, the Chad of all Chads, is massive. But I just wanted to put that out there, that there's, like, a devil's advocate aspect to a Blast size. So another big topic of conversation is, what is Blast's relation to Orochi? And I feel like we're going in cycles with this, because ever since Orochi was revealed, there's always been the whole conversation about Blast being Orochi, or Blast somehow having a relation to Orochi. So still nothing has changed. Blast still isn't Orochi. I mean, it's fun to speculate about, that's a possibility, but it's just not the case. It would kind of ruin the story if Blast was Orochi. And besides that, I mean, like, if you don't want to take it from me, I mean, I don't even have to go into spoilers to break it down and explain why he isn't. But first, this video is sponsored by the Listen But Don't podcast. So it's basically a comedy podcast, but they also go over various anime topics as well. And they also do a $100 giveaway a week to one lucky listener, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna play a little clip from their podcast here.
Dude's the bad guy's wife.
In what?
In Book of Eli.
Oh, I don't remember. I was too up when I watched that movie. I just remember them fighting.
Oh man, I got the old guy laugh now.
That's that belly laugh.
Oh God, man. Oh,
it's almost a goofy laugh.
Thank you to the Listen But Don't podcast for sponsoring this video. You can find the link to their channel in the description. So please check these guys out. They definitely deserve the support. Thanks again. I mean, there's tons of evidence to support that they are not one and the same character. But Murata himself, who is just the illustrator of One Punch Man. Some people seem to forget that. He's not the creator. He's not the writer. One is. Murata does have some creative control over it, but I just wanted to put that out there. Anyway, Murata, 2 years ago on his stream, he was asked, straight up, is Orochi Blast? And he said, oh, this is interesting. Blast is really strong. I don't want him to die. And then he says some spoiler stuff. So he won't be making an entrance now. Therefore, that is not a possibility. So if you're not going to take it from me, at least take it from Murata. So then another thing that he says is Blast is really strong. And don't you think, like, if Blast monster fight or something like that, he would be way stronger than Orochi? At least the implications of how powerful Blast is, at least in my opinion. So yeah, they do have aesthetic similarities with their cape and stuff, but I think that's where the comparisons end. Is it possible Orochi was influenced by Blast? Sure, why not? I mean, multiple characters have at this point, so maybe Orochi was one of them, but Orochi's backstory and who he is, I think it was purposely left ambiguous. Like, it doesn't matter where he came from. He's just supposed to represent, like, a big, bad, lurking, evil dude. Like, the real mastermind here is Psycho. She's the core of the Monster Association, not Orochi. He's just the big muscle of her group. He's, like, her greatest creation. So is it possible we're going to get more backstory on Orochi? Sure, why not? But I also wouldn't be surprised if we don't. So now at this point, I want to go into webcomic spoilers to further go into Blast. So if you don't want to know what's going to happen, I suggest you check out now. So going back to Blast's costume, I'm trying to make sense of it here. So I talked about in the review how there could be multiple iterations of it, like through the years Blast has changed his costume and whatnot, and I'm thinking that that's probably the case here. So when we see Blast in the flashback with Tatsumaki, that costume, like I said in the review, lines up with what he looked like in chapter 119 when we see him with Drive Knight's speech and all that stuff. So considering that that was 18 years ago with Tatsumaki, it's possible that that, like, was his first costume. Like, maybe he made it himself or something. I don't know. And what we see with him in a My Mask could be like what he looks like after he joined the Hero Association, possibly, or maybe a little before that. But also, it's like, how young was Amai Mask when Blast saved him? Because Amai Mask is like 25 and Tatsumaki's 28, so they would, it would kind of be around this similar time if they were both kids, so not sure about that. But also, there's aesthetic similarities with Blast's suit to what we see of the Neo Heroes suits. Now, of course, not exactly one-for-one recreations, but the hands kind of look similar, and just the overall aesthetic of it. It almost looks like what Murata would maybe adapt the Neo Hero suits to be like in the manga. Speaking of the Neo Hero suits, I'm not going to go into theory and speculation, all that stuff. I'll save that for another video. But right now, it's implied that they're coming from Metal Knight, which is true for the most part, because in chapter 127 of the webcomic, Child Emperor says, like, unlike regular armor, it reads the wearer's nerves and all that stuff. I saw plans for something like this in Metal Knight, Dr. Bafoy's development room. I'm thinking that it's possible that maybe Metal Knight made this suit for Blast to help him, just help him. Maybe it has something to do with his abilities, or maybe he's friends with Metal Knight or something, because also there's that weird excerpt in the data book about, his abilities from Fubuki and stuff, where it talks about controlling billions of robots or trillions of robots or something like that, which I still don't quite understand. I know there's tons of theories as to what that could be. I'm not going to go over in this video, but I just want to put it out there that it's possible that this suit was created by Dr. Bafoy, therefore there's some connection between them possibly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm just going to wait a little bit more for some more developments or some new theories to arise possibly, or more discussions before I start milking Blast more, because I milk Blast a lot on this channel. I have tons of videos dedicated to him, which you can check out. But if you like this one, please give it a like, and please subscribe, guys. I'm trying to reach that subscriber milestone before the end of the year. I also have a Patreon with the Q&As weekly on there. I have a Twitch channel. We just live reacted to webcomic chapter 130 on there. And yeah, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.